Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and I can say gentlemen because we have one here tonight. Okay. So tonight, let me stand out of the way of the. Nope, stand out of the way of the. Dun, 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 dun. Tonight we are talking about herbs for stress and sleep. But before we get into that, I wanted to cover the basics of tincture making. This is an alcoholic herbal tincture. So you use the alcohol to extract the properties of the herbs. Um, I felt like it was important to cover these in conjunction with sleepy time herbs because I feel like Joelle needs tea. Hi. We have tea and cookies. So you should get tea and cookies. Lots of cookies. They're gluten-free. Cornell made them. You're going to want to stuff them in your pockets. Now's the chance if anyone needs seconds for tea and cookies. Okay. Can I get you some tea? Okay, are you sure? Because I need you to drink the tea so that you can get sleepy by the end of the class. Okay, good point. Usually when excellent, thank you, Joelle. Usually when I'm teaching this class and I see people like Jerry start like
I shift a lot in my seat. I don't sit so well.
No, I'm thinking like bobbleheading, like
I'm not bobbleheading at your class.
I'm kidding. Just that once. No. Usually when I see people falling asleep at class, I'm like, oh, I'm doing a bad job. But this time I'm just gonna be like, those herbs worked.
I'll start swearing this time for you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. A little theatrics are appreciated. So anyway, tinctures. Tinctures are a great, very popular way to take your herbs. Some of the benefits are that these preparations last a really, really long time, as opposed to dried herbs that have an optimal shelf life of about a year. And then, teas that you can keep fresh in your fridge for 3 days. These you can keep forever, kind of, maybe. I've always been taught forever and ever and ever, but I'm starting to see literature that says maybe not forever, because they may still be efficacious, but when they start running tests, now that we have science and standards and stuff, and they're actually testing this stuff, they're finding that some of the constituents tend to degrade over time. But I would say you got 10 years. You've got a long, long, long shelf life. And it's one of those things it won't kill you. It's alcohol. It's well preserved, so you can test it and try it and see if it's functional. And if not, then you can go get more. So let's go. The basics of how to make a tincture is very, very similar to how to make an herb infused oil, or for that matter, how to make a water infusion. There's some fancy words that we use in herbalism. Menstruum. The menstruum is the liquid, often a mixture of alcohol and water, used to extract the beneficial compounds from the plants. The marc is the plant material that's left over after you squish out your alcohol. And maceration is the fancy word of the process of soaking the plant material in the menstruum. So those are just some fun words to know. You'll see them in herb books. You'll get on YouTube and you listen to fancy herbalists talk, and they'll use those words. So the basic nuts and bolts of the procedure is to weigh your herbs, put them in a jar, cover them with the menstruum, alcohol, and a little water, shake daily for at least 2 weeks, store in a cool, dark place, strain by whatever means necessary, bottle in an opaque glass, preferably, and continue to store in a dark, cool place. So like all herbal preparations, their efficacy is plagued by light and heat and oxygen. So keep them someplace cool and dark and away from all that. It's good to know. A quart jar will hold 150 grams of plant material with 750 milliliters of menstruum. This is what I was saying earlier. Tinctures last a long time, but not forever. Only make what you will use and start small. You don't need, like the very first time I went to make tinctures, I was sure one of my children had ADHD and I was going to cure them with herbs. Like, So I bought like a pound of Brahmi and Gacha Cola and what was the other? Like 3 or 4 different things, you know. And this was super early in my herb journey, right? Like this is way early on. Now I would never turn to herbs first. First, my kid did not have ADHD. Second, I would never just turn to herbs. And third, those are not even the ones that I would use. So I bought this massive amount of plant material, a pound of each of these, and it took like 2 half-gallon jars to tincture both of those. Needless to say, literally like 15 years later, I still have all of that tincture. And what's the one? My brain is
So do you use
blanking.
like Everclear? What do you,
We'll get to that.
Oh,
Yes is
right.
the answer. Yes, you can. But
it's not rubbing alcohol.
no. Now, hey, and I didn't talk about this anywhere in the slides. You can use rubbing alcohol for topical preparations, and that works great. It works excellent. It's very cheap, but I would highly suggest that you label all of your rubbing alcohol preparations in big, huge letters: poison, 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 poison. And in fact, I went and bought those like skull and crossbones, bright yellow, like poison labels to put on all of mine, because you forget. And this and do not forget to label, because seriously, you really think you're going to remember. You really think you're going to be like, I know exactly what this is and the day I made it and what I was feeling that day, but you don't remember any of those things. And I can only tell you from personal experience how many like random herbal tea blends or half used unlabeled little tincture bottles I've found that I'm going, what is this? Why did I make this? Like, label everything. When you're making herbal tinctures, it's good to label with the herb name. I like to put the Latin name on too, although I got lazy with these and didn't do it. And then the ratio that you used, we'll get to that a little later on. Usually, a lot of times I'll use a 1-to-5 ratio, meaning 1 part herb to 5 part menstruum or alcohol. And then I like to put on my labels the date that I started macerating it and the date I pressed it. I feel like there was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, we were talking, I tangented just a little bit on, they're called liniments. When you make a tincture with alcohol, it's called a liniment. And then so think of something like myrrh, that's really antiviral, antimicrobial, antifungal, makes a great liniment. What are some other ones? Any of the berberine herbs, for the same reason, make great ones. I like to make yarrow is a wonderful thing to make a rubbing alcohol liniment with, and there's lots and lots of yarrow out there in the hills for us to go gather. That one's really great to stop bleeding. So back when I was married to a butcher, and it worked great. They always kept it at the meatpacking plant. They always kept just like this, and they would just squirt, squirt, squirt. So A, it would be antiseptic, and B, it would stop the bleeding pretty quick. So there's lots you can make, and I highly recommend playing. When you start making tinctures, the standard weight to volume ratio most of the time with most of what you're doing is going to be a 1-to-5 ratio using dried herbs. So that would equal 1 gram of herb for every 5 milliliters of booze. Does everyone understand that correlation? Because it just works out beautifully. Grams and milliliters they're lo mismo. They're the same. I don't know a good way to describe that, but it is. Go with it. The percentage of alcohol used depends on the plant and the constituents you're trying to extract. So a 40 to 60% alcohol is appropriate for most dried plants. For any of you that don't know, proof is double the percentage of alcohol. So a 40% alcohol, which is going to be your rum, your vodka, your standard on the shelf, just about anything you go by, rum, vodka, gin, tequila, whatever. Most of them on the shelf are 40% alcohol. And then, so that's an 80 proof. Vodka and brandy are the are two of the most popular choices for homemade herbalists. Brandy just tastes good, and vodka doesn't really have much taste at all. So both of those are beneficial for those reasons. And this is where we get to Everclear. You certainly can use Everclear, or like I was for a while there when I was making a lot of tinctures, I would like, you can buy ethanol alcohol like super cheap. And it comes, I mean, it is nasty. It is poison. Like literally, it is just a step above rubbing alcohol. But what you can do is you can dilute it. So it's good. This is a great book. This is The Modern Herbal Dispensary, a medicine making guide by Thomas Easley and Stephen Horn. Thomas Easley is a very well known Western herbalist. I respect his work. He's got lots and lots of educational materials. He's been around a long time. This book is fantastic. I highly recommend it because not only does it give you a whole bunch of different herbal preparations and how to make it, it gives you a whole bunch of different herbs. So the deal is, you really want to like take your time getting to know each herb that you start to work with. And it's important to know like what the constituents are that you're trying to extract. I'm looking for a graph in here. There's a table in here that I love. Oh, look, I love it so much. I put a little clip on it. This is super beneficial because it will show you aromatic herbs that are high in essential oils. Water is a fair solvent. Alcohol is a good solvent. Glycerin is an excellent solvent. Vinegar is a good solvent, and oil is an excellent solvent. Go down the list. We have pungent herbs, which are high in alkaloids. We have pungent or resinous herbs, which are high in resins. Where aromatic bitters have sesquiterpene, lactones, and triterpenes. Um, those are awesome. Like those molecules are often found in, they're like essential oil compounds, and so that's where that aromatic comes from. um, he was calling simple non-alkaloid bitters, oh, simple bitters, so they have diterpenes and glycosides. And you go down: alkaloid bitters, acrid herbs, astringent herbs, salty herbs, sweet or tonic herbs, demulcent herbs, or sour herbs. So as you take the time to get to know each plant you're working with one-on-one, it's nice to get a sense of which category of these they fall in. So then when you start medicine making, you can look at a chart like this and be like, oh, okay, yep. Alcohol is going to be a good solvent, or water is going to be a good solvent. It really just depends. So let's take, for example, oh, I have it right here, our good friend marshmallow root. Marshmallow root, the reason we use this plant so much is because of its demulcency. It's you're extracting these polysaccharides, mucopolysaccharides, these long chains of sugars, essentially, right? They don't extract well in alcohol at all. So when you go to make a preparation with this, you might choose to use this 90 proof alcohol, but dilute it with 75% water. Or what I have been doing that I think is really effective is actually making a really strong infusion with an herb like this, and then leaving the plant material in there, and then putting the alcohol in. So you need about 25% total to have that shelf life that's really stable. Um, but for something like this, the constituents of the plant that you're trying to extract are more water soluble. And so you would use a lower percentage of alcohol. Um, something like golden seal, which is really high in alkaloids, you're going to want to use a higher proof. Or something really resinous like myrrh or frankincense, you're going to want to use like the full 90%. And then I think I should have that here in a sign. So resins and gums, myrrh, frankincense, pine resin. You want 90% alcohol, so you're going to use your Everclear. The glycoside herbs, your sugary kind of herbs, mullein, licorice root, soapwort. I don't know what soapwort is. I looked it up and now I've forgotten all about it. Herbs rich with tannins, you also don't want a large amount of alcohol. That would be witch hazel, rose, white willow bark is another any of the herbs that have tannins make your tongue feel real tight and tingly. It like they're astringent herbs. Another, did I put a slide about this? This is just a fun little thing to know. You can add 10% glycerin to an alcohol tincture that helps extract the volatile oils, so the essential oils, so the aromatic parts of the plant, and it stabilizes the tannins. And then you can add 5% vinegar when you're tincturing plants with high mineral or alkaloid content to better extract those constituents. So let's say, for example, you want to tincture nettles. Nettles is really high in mineral content. You're not likely to take the tincture on purpose for the mineral content, but if you want to extract more of those components into your tincture, you could add some alcohol. Another one I do this too is any of the berberine containing herbs. So berberine is this yellow constituent that has a yellow color. It's an alkaloid. It is super duper antimicrobial. It is antifungal, antiviral, all the things when applied topically because of those constituents. And so to get more of them, let's say for example, you were going to use, let's do easy numbers. You've got 100 grams of herbs. So then you were going to use 500 milliliters of, let's say, a 40% alcohol. Let's say you were going to use brandy. You're going to use 40% brandy, right? But then you say, I'm going to, instead of doing 500 milliliters of alcohol, you would figure out whatever, you would use whatever 95% of that is alcohol, and then the 5% would be vinegar. Is that clear as mud? Okay. Please.
You're gonna add peanuts and chocolate chips.
Yes.
Split that and yeah.
Thank you. Yes, it's really simple. I've been in herb classes where they've gotten out the whiteboard and they've done this math a bunch. We're not going to do that. You guys are all super smart mathematicians, and if you need any help with it, please give me a call, and I'll put you on the phone with Cornell. So really, I'm not going to belabor tinctures. That's the nuts and bolts. I want you to feel confident that you can go play with that. In the classroom, I added a link to a website that I found that has really beautiful get started instructions. I didn't feel like reinventing the wheel, but you can go find those there. If you're not in the classroom, let me know. I'll try to get you in there. And now on to sleepy herbs, if I can escape out of here. And the reason I wanted to start with tinctures before we did sleepy time herbs is because good sleep is about going to bed on time, and then this nice long uninterrupted stretch and rising, feeling refreshed. And if you got to get up and pee like 8 times during the night because you've drank a quart of sleepy time tea to get you there, it kind of defeats the purpose. And so not always, but most of the time, if I'm trying to help someone with herbs, giving them a sleep formula, there's nothing to see, I turn to tinctures. So yeah, that's that. Now I got to figure out how to navigate Canva. I really love Canva. It's my best friend. I would never be able to do this stuff without Canva. That is all. Herbs for sleep and stress. Present. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Mastering stress and sleep comes down to balance. Oh, why you are stressed if you don't sleep and can't sleep if you are stressed. Cortisol. Cortisol, cortisol, cortisol. I'm sure there's other things too, but this just seems to be like the low-hanging fruit and the easiest thing to talk about. When When you are really stressed, you have these super high levels of cortisol that keeps you tossing and turning, and your inflammation rolling and boiling, and your thoughts spinning and churning and turning, and so you can't fall asleep. And when you don't get enough sleep, guess what? You get increased cortisol. And it's this nasty, nasty cycle. Um, the answer, of course, is to get better sleep. More sleep and better sleep is a great place to start. I want you all to know, for those of you that really just want to laze in bed and stay in bed and sleep in late and bed rot, you're not lazy. You're not lazy. We all need far more sleep than we allow ourselves. We live in a culture where, early bird gets the worm and productivity is prioritized, and we are told we need to go, 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 go. And there's also, you get on the scrolls, and there's all sorts of like how to dominate your morning routine. Start at 5 a.m. and go to the gym. And guess what? I'm not saying don't go to the gym. Go to the gym, but maybe go to the gym when the sunlight is out, when we would be normally physically active and productive. We as modern people, thanks to Thomas Edison, and the light bulb is great, but thanks to all this artificial light, we have come so far from the natural rhythms of how humans are designed to function optimally. Before the modern age, before the Industrial Revolution, before the light bulbs, people went to bed when it got dark, and they woke up when the sun came out. And that's how it's been since we were people, right? And they did studies, and I can't quote them. I don't know exactly which ones. My teachers have shown them to me, and I was very, what's the word? Were very impressive. But just 100 years ago, people were averaging 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, whereas now people are averaging, 5 to 6 during the week, maybe 7 on the weekend. And you wonder why we have an epidemic of mental health issues. We are so thrown out of whack. Um, I think one of the healthiest things, like one of the bedrocks of health and longevity, is to prioritize your sleep. And I was super duper resistant to this. I will tell you, when I started at Acorn Herb School 3 years ago, I was close to burnout all the time. I would stay up till 10, 11, 12. I would sleep till 5 most mornings. And then I would get up and I'd drink lots of coffee and I'd get my exercise in and I'd meditate. And I just thought, like, when they started talking about this topic, I remember, because Paul Bergner is huge on this and has lots of research and lots of literature and lots of case studies of people who have turned their life around just by improving their sleep. And I was like, so, so resistant. Absolutely not. Everyone's different. I'm functionally optimally, but I really wasn't. And, when you go through a program like that, if you want the master's kung fu, you have to do what the master says. So I was like, I will try it. And it was pretty amazing. It was pretty revolutionary, as far as my mood, my energy, my outlook on life. I still drink coffee, but I don't need coffee all day. I don't need coffee in the afternoon. I don't need naps. I don't feel groggy. Like, it's a totally different ballgame when you make sure that you are getting the sleep that your body needs at the right time. Circadian rhythm is so crucial. All of our hormonal functioning and signaling, everything that makes us tick, our digestion, our reproductive health, our mood and energy, all of these things are hardwired, are baked into the way our circadian rhythm functions. And again, we're programmed, get up with the sun, our serotonin starts rising, our activity starts rising, and then about, as the daylight starts waning, we start naturally winding down. We start moving into, like, we'll have our last meal and then move into rest and digest, and then we're supposed to turn on melatonin and replenish and go through detox at night while we sleep. And we need all this huge chunk of sleep for us to be able to go through all these bodily processes that are supposed to happen at night. Serotonin and melatonin are our master regulators. Serotonin is what makes you feel alert and awake and active and energized, and it's created in the gut mostly, which is really interesting. You need a healthy gut for healthy serotonin levels. It regulates our mood. And what's interesting is that we can optimize our levels of creating enough serotonin by being active and like by getting exercise and by getting actual sunlight in our eyes during the day. We are actually very, very photosensitive beings. And if you think about how you feel in the winter, like this is no surprise. It's not just lack of vitamin D, although that plays a role. Light is the way we interact with light is far more complex than just that one simple vitamin production. The truth is, we need light and we need to get outside and we need to be active during the day. And what happens is, however much serotonin you make in the day, you then have the potential to make that much melatonin at night. So if you're only making this much serotonin, you're only going to make this much melatonin. If you're making this much serotonin, you're making this much melatonin. So they're very tightly connected. And I think understanding that can help a lot of people who are not getting good sleep. There are 3 elements for stimulating melatonin. It's dark, cooling off your temperature, and laying in a horizontal position.
Can you go this way?
Thank you. Sorry. Yes, I can.
I still haven't picked.
No, I appreciate it.
I'm being
Thank you.
selfish.
No, thank you. Thank you. And this is huge too. I don't think this was a game changer for me to realize that it was like there's a recipe to getting sleepy. And if you mess with that recipe, you don't get sleepy. So if you're exposing yourself to lots of light, this is where we all fall down in the modern age. And this is the call to, at a certain time, like dim your lights. If you have children that aren't sleeping well, make sure they are not on screens 2 hours before they go to bed. If you are having trouble sleeping, put your screens away 2 hours before you go to bed. You can shut off all your overhead lights and move to, dimmer, low light table lights. Makes a huge difference, and it sets a cozy atmosphere. Here's the other thing. If you're not sleeping, if you have chronic insomnia, I'm sorry, you might have a food intolerance. One of the things we see in the Acorn Clinic over and over and over again, they have countless case studies of people who have come to the clinic with insomnia and left the clinic without insomnia, as long as they've also been willing to give up their major food intolerances. Dairy seems to be a huge one tied to insomnia specifically, but it can be any or all of them. The reason this happens is because when you're eating your food intolerance, every single time you eat it, your body mounts a full inflammatory response. It turns everything on into flight or fight. You have just put poison into your body. Your body is saying, I've been poisoned. And it jacks up your cortisol. And that's going to interrupt sleep. So we're not going to go deep into food intolerances tonight. I just want to slide that in there. I think next month we have herbs for good gut, and we'll talk more about it. Stay tuned. And now for the herbs. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, a lot of the herbs we're going to be talking about tonight are nervines or nervines. I don't know. I've always said nervine, but I've heard other herbalists say nervine, so choose your poison. I need a drink. Some nervines. A nervine is a type of herb that supports and modulates the nervous system. Key characteristics. Supports the nervous system. They can help support the function of the brain and the nerves. There's a variety of effects. They're not all sleepy times. They can be calming, relaxing, nourishing. Some are even stimulating. And they're used for a range of issues. Conditions related to stress, anxiety, and sleep, and overall nervous system health are the big ones. So this label is put on a whole bunch of different herbs with a whole bunch of different properties, but all of them share the commonality that they affect the central nervous system. Let's talk about adaptogens. Who's heard of an adaptogen? 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of people. Okay, there's a lot of hype around adaptogens. Right now, they are all the rage. You will get on the scrolls and you'll see, you know, adaptogen, non-alcoholic concoctions to boost your mood or your productivity, or the mushroom coffees that are supposed to change your life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, ad nauseum. Every type of, you know, whenever it's kind of like the go-to remedy for a lot of natural health practitioners for people that have brain fog or chronic fatigue, and take these adaptogens, they'll turn you right around. Here's the problem. They don't actually give you energy. What they do is they modulate when you feel tired. And so the if you have this much energy in your tank, they don't give you this much energy. You keep this much energy. This is how much energy you have. This is your reserve. What adaptogens will do is change when you feel tired. So even though you've used all your energy, you don't feel tired yet. So you keep going. And a lot of times, these herbs can be used inappropriately to push people past what's healthy for them and straight on into burnout. There are situations when they're valuable. So if I were working with someone and they were coming to me and they had chronic fatigue and they were having they had food intolerances and they were having a whole lot of trouble getting the energy to cook their evening meal, right? Because suddenly they're under all this stress trying to learn how to cook in a whole new way. Adaptogens might be worthwhile in a very short course, no longer than 6 weeks, just to give someone the oomph they need to make major life changes, to do the work, so that once they retreat from those adaptogens, then the life changes are in place and are giving them actual true vitality. But the problem with thinking that you're going to take an herb and that's going to carry you through situations is it puts you kind of in a dangerous position of burnout. They definitely work. I there was a time when, right when my oldest son got diagnosed with autism, that I really, really wanted to get him ABA therapy, which at the time they didn't. Insurance companies were not mandated to cover it, and it was like $30,000 a year. And even though my then husband made a ton of money at the time, it wasn't in the forecast. So I thought I was going to go back to work. And I got a job waitressing. Like, I don't remember how many days a week, 3 days a week, even though I had 3 little kids at home. And a herbalist friend of mine gave me a rhodiola tincture. Rhodiola definitely makes you feel like you can keep going. Like and it's got this tingly mouthfeel that I really enjoyed. It was like, it gave me a brightness after just a week of taking it. I felt like I had a lot more room, but I'm not going to say it was the rhodiola that caused burnout, but that was not sustainable. It wasn't sustainable. I quit the job. It didn't work. Jacob did not get ABA therapy. And, you know, thankfully for me, it didn't do any major harm, but I've seen case studies where inappropriate use of adaptogens have put people further into burnout when lifestyle changes would have been the answer. So I'm not really going to cover a bunch of adaptogens or any adaptogens tonight. Instead, I'm going to talk about some other herbs. You've probably heard of valerian. Almost everybody has heard of valerian root. What's that? Yeah, it smells like dirty socks is what everyone says. It smells like dirty socks. Interestingly, that's an indication of how old it is.
Really?
Yes, the fresher it is, the more recently it's been dried, the less of that smell it has. And then as it ages, that dirty sock smell comes
really
on.
Old stuff. It's bad.
Yeah. It definitely, I mean, I think this is one that lives up to its name. I don't think it would be as popular for as long if it didn't have efficacy. I haven't used it much, in truth. I don't even have a tincture of it, I don't think. The interesting thing about a lot of the herbs we're going to talk about tonight are very cooling. which is interesting because insomnia and restlessness and sleeplessness is often considered. What's that? You drinking tea? Sorry, I'm sorry. It's a snooze fest. Here we go. Just wait. I've got more for everyone to try. The interesting thing with valerian is that unlike a lot of these other nervines, this one is warm. A lot of these are cool. And insomnia is a hot, restless condition. And so a lot of times what we do is turn to cooling, moistening, nourishing herbs. Valerian is actually warm. And what's interesting is for like 10% of people who take it, it has the opposite effect. It'll actually make them very wakeful. So word to the wise, it doesn't work the same for everybody. Do I have passion flower here? Okay. This is passion flower. So I'm going to invite you all. Take a few drops.
No, thank you.
Oh, go for it. Here, it's great. It's so much fun. You got to taste it. Getting to know the herbs is getting to know the taste and flavor of the herbs. It's part of the fun. So,
All right, I'll smell it. I smell it. I'll inhale it.
passion flower doesn't actually, in my experience, it doesn't actually make you sleepy. I have tried many, many times. I had this one by my bedside table, and it was the one I would go to, like if I woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't fall back asleep.
See, I was like,
There's cookies. There's cookies for when we're done. It'll be fine.
I just can't put it by my mouth. I'm afraid I'm going to touch my tongue on it.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's cold and bitter. It's cold and bitter. It's well known for people with racing thoughts. That's sort of like it's the indication to use it. It's supposed to shut off your cyclical, just that mind chatter. It's more relaxing and calming than it is actually sedating. I wouldn't necessarily call it sedative, but sometimes, see, that's the thing. We kind of have to figure out why it is that you're not sleeping, right? Like, what is the thing? But if you're just stressed and it's been a long day and you want to shut all this off, the general dose of an herb, of a tincture, is 30 drops 3 times a day. If you want like all day sustained effects. I've known people to like mix the whole day's dose in like a big thing of juice and sip on it through the day. Something like this, that's really nasty tasting, you could mix it in like a syrup or a little bit of juice and knock it back, or you could mix it in your tea. 30 drops is basically a quarter teaspoon. So there's that one. Oh, this is a great one. California poppy. California poppy is in the tea. That's part of what gives it this slightly bitter taste that I tried to squelch with stevia.
Is the tea not good either? It's bitter.
It's a sleepy time tea. I'm telling you what. Drink up. We're gonna sleep like a baby tonight.
I'm just gonna go get some.
No, you gotta drink it. Do it. There's cookies. California poppy is in the same family as the opium poppy. It's much gentler. It's much, much, much gentler. It is not habit forming. It is not narcotic. It's very beautiful. It truly is very safe. This one also, I would not say that this is sedative. In large doses, I've been told that it's hypnotic, but I've not actually experienced that effect. Its primary use is as an anodyne, which is pain relieving. And so a lot of times people are unable to sleep because they have aches and pains that keep them up all night. And when that is the case, I often turn to this herb as something that I put in the blend. I find that sleepy formulas, and stress formulas for that matter, work the best when you come at the problem from a lot of different directions. So if you had someone that's not sleeping because they have muscle ache and they have stress, then something like adding the passion flower to help get rid of the cyclical thoughts to the California poppy is going to come at it from both angles. it also tastes awful. Oh yeah, that's super foul. Here you go. I really want you to try it. Be brave. Be brave. Go forth.
That's a bad smell, but I'll try it.
You gotta. Come on. Oh, you only live once.
I can't think what it smells like.
Terrible. It just, I don't know. It's got a very bitter, it's got a musty sort of bitter.
Kind of hit my tonsils. We're getting our bitters. We're getting our bitters tonight.
Excellent. I want to we're gonna kind of skip around a little bit. Okay, skull cap. I want to make sure that we get this in. This is going to be the really this one's going to be really fun.
Okay.
Let's talk about skull cap. Skull cap is one of those herbs that if you're an herbalist, you absolutely have to know about skull cap. It's one of like, I don't know, it's like the starter herb. It's like in your starter pack. It is another nervine, commonly used for insomnia, agitation, any sort of nervous disorder. It's very cold. It's very bitter. It does not taste good. I have been taught that the tincture is calming but not sedating, whereas large quantities of the tea can actually make you sleepy. I've also been taught that it works best if it's fresh. I don't have it here. Fear not. I have it here in this concoction that I'm going to make y'all drink. So this actually is powdered skullcap mixed with equal parts with powdered marshmallow root. And this is the Acorn Clinic special. This is like one of the most commonly distributed formulas that come out of the Acorn Clinic for sleepy time herbs. The beauty of it is that when you take powdered herbs, you can get a larger dose. You don't have to worry about which constituents are being extracted because you're getting all of them right there in the plant. And so for skullcap, because we want to actually try to make it a sleepy time formula, we're going to actually take the herb. Again, because we don't want to drink a whole bunch of liquid before we go to bed, you take this as a draft. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 for me, 8. Do I have enough? I think I have enough. Oh my gosh. Look, it's serendipitous. I have just enough. So the way you make a draft, the usual dose is 1.5, but we're going to do 2 tonight because my skull cap was a little bit old. So a little bit. So this is my skull cap. You can actually see the herb. My skull cap is from 2018. So just like the herbs in your medicine or your herbs in your kitchen that get old, it's not like you need to throw them away. It's just that you may need a little bit more, right, to get the flavor. So I put a little bit more skull cap in here than it was a little bit, it was like, what did I do? I did a 1/2 cup of the marshmallow and a whole cup of the skull cap. Please.
no, this is good. I was like, he was out.
That's awesome. That is the best story I've ever heard, actually.
Did you sleep well all night?
You guys, I'm going to help everybody out. We're putting a little bit of honey in here.
We need the instant replay of that face. I want that slow-mo. I want it slow-mo.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Well, this one's mine. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I need a napkin. Oh. Jeez.
As long as it didn't go into the computer.
No, we're good.
Yeah,
We're good.
not the keyboard, no.
It's fine. It's totally fine. Excellent.
But when you get 3 times, this goes up now.
Oh, I'm gonna make everybody sticky too. Oh, thanks.
Do you need an assist?
Yes, I need this. Oh God.
It works.
Oh, now this skull cap is just sliding.
Oh
on
yeah,
the
it's
top.
fine. It's totally fine. It's just great.
Yep. Oh yeah, the flip for me.
Yep. At the year end, they'll have put it all together.
Ah, tee hee. It's great. This is really getting much messier than I anticipated. I saw this going so much smoother in my mind. Fine. Oh. I am sweating profusely now. I need some chill out herbs. I'm seriously sticky. This one's kind of hosed. That's just not. Did this one get any? Oh. It's totally fine. I'm washing my hands. Hold, please. Okay. So to our 2 teaspoons of urban honey, we're adding about 6 ounces of water per cup. This is an art, not a science. And honestly, you don't even really need that much. Just enough to get all your herbs wet. So the idea is...
That one has no honey, by the way.
It has a little.
Oh, it does.
It might need a little bit more.
I missed it.
It's gonna get more. It's gonna get more skull cap too. This one's gonna be the bomb.
Don't drink it if you're doing it. A long way.
It'll be fine. So the idea is you want to drink all of this, right? Like you want to drink the powder and the whole kit caboodle. You want to suck it all down. But I wanted these to get. You have to let them sit for 15 minutes. So we had to get them started.
So skull cap and marshmallow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So would they be a little viscousy?
They should be, yeah. But the idea that the truth of the matter is, we gotta stir this. Let's go. Yeah. Like all the whole marshmallow plant's in there. It's like you'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be a great adventure. Are you guys so ready for this?
No.
You're doing it. Come on. And this is like herb party tricks. chug, 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 chug.
Looks gross. Green smoothie. From some kale.
I really appreciate all of you being my guinea pigs. It's gonna be great.
I don't even know how it's gonna taste.
Hers is gonna be really sweet.
Okay, wait, I have to wash my hands one more time. That's pretty sticky. Okay. I'll hand you paper towel as we go. But for now, we'll just let these sit. You, come over here. All right. Is there a way to go back? Oh, that's so cool. You can go back. I like hops. Let's talk about hops. Everyone's familiar with hops, right? Mixed beer. Yay. This is a lovely herb. Kind of underutilized, I think. It will make you sleepy. It doesn't taste great. Again, it's pretty bitter, especially by itself. There's hops in this tea. I think I did an all right job of disguising it. I don't know, maybe not. It has carminative properties. That's that bitterness. So it helps with an anxious, nervous stomach. It's indicated for a hot digestive system because this is a cooling herb, or an irritated nervous system. It's known to increase sex drive and breast milk production. And then I have heard several times that it is contraindicated in cases of clinical depression, and it might make someone feel a little bit blue if they're taking a lot of it. I don't know that to be true. I've never had any actual reports of that. But I brought along the flowers so that you could actually see it. I don't know. They're really pretty looking, and they grow in these big, huge vines that you can get to climb. I had a friend in Omaha who had just lovely, lovely hops vines.
My parents had them.
Well, that's fun.
My dad made homemade beer like when I was in elementary school.
That's so cool.
I'm pretty sure they still have them. Climbing up a tower in the backyard.
But no more homemade beer?
Hasn't made homemade beer for a long time.
Huh. Well, if we need fresh hops flowers, I feel like they lose when you first buy them. These are probably about 5 years old. When you first buy them, they're really bright, vibrant green, and then they fade really quickly. So in getting ready for this class, I had a jar full of some that must have been at least 10, 11 years old. And I opened the jar and I was like, oh, it had no smell. It was completely devoid of all hoppiness whatsoever. So that was I threw those away. And now we have these guys. So that's hops. I like hops. I do think this one works for inducing sleep. What time did we pour our stuff? Okay. What else do we got? Let's talk about wood betony. I love wood betony. I really wish that I had the actual dried herb to make a tea to show you the tea. I think it's delicious. And wood betony, when you first start to get to know herbs, the best way, literally, I'll tell you over and over, the best way is to get to them one at a time. Pick one that you're going to fall in love with for a month and take it and make it and read about it and dive into it. Wood betony was the first herb that ever actually made me sleepy. And I was, so I'm kind of in love with it for that reason. It has some antispasmodic properties. It's used to address headaches, anxiety, muscle ache. It's pretty wonderful. And so the problem, I think, with herbal tinctures is that they all taste gross because of the alcohol. But you'll see, if you're brave enough, that it tastes a little less gross. It's not quite so bitter.
I was waiting for the face.
Smells the same.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
It smells like something you treat cows with.
Oh, how funny.
I can see that. Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Wood betony is often used for neck aches. It's very common that that's a good remedy for neck aches, muscle tension, tension headaches. It's a great and a sleepy time formula for someone who has headaches. Where do we want to go? Where do we want to go? Oh, let's talk about, okay, a truly disgusting herb. Oh, Ellie, do you want to talk about it? Oh, please. Because I really don't like it, so I always feel like I do it disservice. What's that? I really don't like it. I really don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't know why. It kind of makes me feel a little nauseous, even if I only take small amounts. Some people, I've heard that people respond that way. Not everybody does. Obviously, it's Ellie's Holy Grail. The picture here is it's the officinalis. This one here is officinalis. We have verbena hosta that grows around here everywhere. It's in the same family. I think it's a hoary vervain is the one that grows in our area. And instead of, do you see how this is like all these little ones? The one that we have has like one, but you can use them analogously. There was one time I got real excited about it and harvested and dried a bunch and then tried to make tea out of it. It's so bitter. It's so gross. It's very cooling. I have been taught that it's indicated in cases of like anger or like liver heat.
Yeah, that's what I have going on. And then I do a lot of overthinking and it calms me the heck out.
That's fantastic.
Do you do a tincture then?
It's in one of my tinctures.
You have it in a blend?
Yeah.
What's the flower? The purple flower is the part.
Well, I harvest all the aerial parts, the leaves and the flower. Is that what you do?
I got it from Nicholas and
Right on. Yep. I still hate it. I don't use it, but it's good to know. It's good to have around. There was a time it's like every time I bumped into someone, they were taking blue vervain and talking about blue vervain. It's very efficacious. It's just not the plant for me. So I don't want to put you off of it too much. It might be the plant for you. Oh God, it tastes so bad. Okay, this and see, the plant for you can change over time. This.
Wow.
Where is it? Isn't that bad?
Oh my goodness. I thought that was the first one was bad.
I really think it's the most disgusting tasting herb that I know of. Cornell probably has others. Oh.
I just wondered
I'd
if
probably be tempted to take a little bottle.
I just wondered if it tasted like what you I'll try it. See what she thinks.
I appreciate everyone's
Chill.
breath. Guys are so brave. I appreciate it. It's wonderful. Motherwort. I love mother. Okay, I didn't used to like motherwort. Motherwort didn't used to be something I would turn to. But as I enter perimenopause, this is my plant, and I really appreciate it. It's another cooling nervine. It's I believe it's in the mint family. It spreads like wildfire. I had some Chinese motherwort growing in my garden, and like for years and years and years, it just kept coming back, and it would spread. As you can see here, it has an affinity for the heart and the circulatory system. That is for real. And so, like that nervous, like heart palpitation you get when you're stressed out, and you feel this like anxious feeling, it really calms that down for me. And over the course of the last couple months, I have noticed that when I take this much, it calms me down. This does not taste bad to me. This is how I know I need this herb, because it doesn't taste disgusting to me. If I take as much as I just did, it'll just calm me down. If I take 3 of those, it will make me sleepy. Like even if it's in the middle of the day, this one makes me sleepy, which again, that's kind of a new experience for me, because here's my take. I have cleaned up my diet. My caffeine intake is a little bit decreased. I don't drink alcohol anymore often, every once in a blue moon, but like, months go by before I have a drink. My previous life, when I was drinking lots of caffeine and lots of alcohol and eating lots of crap, I don't think I could feel the effects of herbs in the same way. I have a girlfriend who is very clean, has always been very clean, doesn't drink caffeine, avoids her food intolerances, all the things, right? Super. That woman takes one drop of any herb. You don't have to tell her what it is, and she will be like, "Oh, I feel whatever," and you're like, "How? How? I do not have that sensitivity." But I find that the less noise there is in my system, the more I can feel the effects of herbs. And so that's why I tell people all the time, like, if you're expecting to find an herb that works like Ambien, you are out of luck. That is not going to happen. But all of these things can be allies if you're willing to don't eat 3 hours before you go to bed. Don't use screens 2 hours before you go to bed. Create a bedtime ritual. Get yourself in a relaxed, horizontal, cool, dark space. Drink your sleepy time herbs. That's like creating the right fertile environment for these things to be a gentle assist. But I want you to try the motherwort because it's wonderful. I highly recommend. This one's different. It tastes totally different than the blue vervain. What did we do? We did passion flower. We did blue vervain. We did wood betony. Oh, I do have skullcap if anyone wants to try the tincture. And we did California poppy.
Which much better?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's much better. It still has that.
Well, it's alcohol, right? Like at the end of the day, you're like, it's just hard alcohol that is somewhat abrasive.
It was just a hint of maybe mint.
It's a very, it's a great plant. I don't know for sure that it's in the mint family. I would have to look to see if it had a square stem and other things.
You said on your screen, it's showing mint family.
Okay, good. It is in the mint family. Yay! I thought it was. So if it's in writing, it's true, even if it's my writing. Catnip. Catnip is for sure in the mint family. Grows like wildfire. Around here, if you start it in your garden, it will take over. And then it'll take over your neighbor's garden. And then it'll blow into the next neighbor's garden. Catnip is the second plant that actually made me sleepy. In sufficient doses, it's a little bit sedative. It's very calming, soothing, great for nervous tummies. It too is bitter. It smells like it might be minty. And then you make the tea and you're like, oh, that's not mint at all. It's very bitter. It's not as bitter as some of these others. It's palatable as a tea. I drink it as a tea a lot. In fact, it's in this tea tonight that we are sampling. I absolutely love it. And when you're talking about stress and you're talking about sleep, this is a safe thing. You can give this to your kids. You can give this to your dog. You can give it to just about anybody. Its cousin, where are we going? Its best friend and cousin and cohort is lemon balm. Does everyone know lemon balm? Raise your hand if you know lemon balm. Anyone? Yes. Lemon balm might be one of my favorite herbs ever in the entire world. The fancy word is anxiolytic, which means it is anti-anxiety. It's not sedative. It will not make you sleepy. You can drink it all day long. It's bright and refreshing and got that crisp little lemony flavor to it. It'll grow like wildfire and spread in your garden and come back year and year and year after year and delight you forever and ever. I cannot say enough wonderful things about it. You should make tea out of it and drink it every day because it will make you happy. It makes me happy. All right, we're gonna do one more thing before we drink our drafts. You're gonna love me for this one. Get ready. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Kava kava. Kava kava. So its Latin name is Piper. Cornell and I looked up how to say this. Methysticum. Methysticum means intoxicating pepper. This is a plant from Polynesia that has gained, everyone's talking about it. Kava is really popular. Kava, you can go to California and you can go to a kava bar and you can sit around and you can drink kava and have your mind opened. And so its effects are not necessarily, I wouldn't say sedative. If you take too much, it'll make you sleepy. But if you take the right dose, it makes you open and relaxed. And it's been used for too long, forever and ever and ever, longer than I could ever tell you, in Polynesia and Hawaii and in other those other Polynesian islands, for just about all of their major rituals, especially like I heard from watching a lecture by Jim McDonald that it's used if like a husband and wife are fighting, they'll do this kava ceremony and lock them in a hut until they work it out. Or like at the conclusion of a battle, the chiefs would sit around and do a kava ceremony, or to ward off, to stop a battle, they do a kava ceremony. I have had this kava for a long freaking time, and I've pretty much been afraid to use it. I don't really recommend people using kava. The way it's prepared traditionally, they like grind it up, and then if they put it in a bag and they do this thing where they like rub it and they rub it and they rub it, the the property that, or one of the properties, we talk about the magic property, but really we don't know. There's hundreds of thousands of different biochemical constituents and we don't know them all. But one of the ones that they have attributed that sense of euphoria and openness and relaxation to, they call cavalactones. They're not, what I read, I don't think they're soluble in water. And actually, when the traditional Polynesian people would make this, they would chew it first in their mouths and then spit it into a bowl and then boil that and drink it. But then this other method that they talk about, they grind it and then they like knead it. And so then I think what's happening is you're drinking a little bit of the particles of it, but you don't want to consume the fibrous parts because that can upset your stomach. There is some reports of it being hepatotoxic, toxic to your liver. I've heard different things. I have heard that came about because when it started to get really popular, when the market first opened up for it, people were doing unethical harvesting and they were mixing stems and leaves in with the roots. And so that's where the liver problems were coming from. But then I've also heard people say, just if you use too much of it, that it could be potentially damaging to your liver. And in any event, it's not something that you're supposed to take every day. It is something that was meant to be ritualized. And now, because of its popularity, it is endangered. If you're going to try it, if you're going to buy it, I recommend there's a couple different, you can find some reputable people online that have developed, it has to be cultivated. Kava has lost its ability to self-propagate. And so it's dependent on humans for its survival, basically. And so, you need to find someone from Polynesia that's harvesting it ethically, and then they'll give you tutorials on how to prepare it. Don't buy this. A, this doesn't taste very good, and B, it doesn't work. And who knows what the actual quality is or where it came from. I got this at Mackey's. It was in the dollar bin, and I was just curious. But when you go to read this, and here's the other thing, you go to read this, kava root extract, and then it's carob powder, Indian sarsaparilla, cinnamon, ginger, cardamom, and stevia. Okay, does anyone know what might make this less, like if you're going to try to use this for sleep, what might be a deterrent? Well, it's carob powder. So there's carob powder, yes, and all this cinnamon, ginger, cardamom. All those are warming. This is like, it's for stress, not for sleep. But I'm just saying. Meh. So, because I had thought about trying to figure out how to make it traditionally, and then I was like, nah, let's just chew it.
And spit it. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. I want you to experience the way the cavalactones make your tongue tingle. I will also tell you, I have chewed and chewed and chewed and chewed this, and no matter how much I chew, I have never gotten any sort of. I have not become enlightened yet. I don't even know that I could tell you. I got a sense of euphoria. It was very disappointing. but this sure will make your tongue tingle. So, aren't you guys glad you came to this class?
Yeah, I'm gonna come back again.
Wait. So what? You're telling me you would prefer split soaks?
Yes.
And I missed that one.
Yes, I missed that one.
You don't have to put all of
Mocktails was fun.
we'll do mocktails again. So I don't remember which I put. I think November we're going to do an herbal potluck. I'm not even going to talk. We're just going to make food and we're going to hang out. And then in December, I think it's December. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you had the.
we're gonna do an herbal cocktail mocktail hour, and everyone will have to do a show and tell though. Like we'll talk about it in November. We'll review syrup making maybe while we sit around and eat. We'll review syrup making, and then so for the cocktail and mocktail party, everyone will have to get up and
Homework.
and show us, like, talk about how they made their syrup, what herbs they chose.
They just chew a little bit.
You can chew as much of it as you want and spit it back into your cup and then throw it away. I'll play along just for the fun. Woo! Sorry, Nicole. I'll clean up the mess.
It's like, yes. I'm gonna say alfalfa.
You gotta really chew it for a minute. I'm not gonna be able to spit it back in my cup. All of you who are more conservative were probably wise.
Thank you.
Oh, there's the tingle.
Look at my mouth. It feels numb.
Mhm.
Yeah, not tingling, numbing. Like when you rub Amsol on.
Mhm. How you know it's working? I wish I had my camera pointing this way. So. Nicole, that's my favorite face. You're welcome. Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, I'm blistered out, man.
That was good fun. I have now introduced you to kava. Congratulations. You've been initiated.
Kind of reminds me of like if you chew up a sunflower seed or something.
Mhm.
That's like the texture.
It does have a.
Mhm. All right.
This is what this reminds me of. We'd go feed with my dad and we'd lick everything and taste everything. Eat the cake. It's like, what's that taste like? We ate it.
Don't you feel calm and open and relaxed now?
You should have gave us that first and we just tried all those.
Oh, what would your inhibitions? Next time I teach this class, that's exactly what we're
I
doing.
didn't think this tea would work, but I'm getting tired.
Yes!
I was like, oh, this is not going to do anything to me.
And maybe have a hot cycle first. Like I drink half of it and then I.
That's so
It's
interesting.
hot. And it went away.
That's how I feel. I'm like, I just lay down and kind of go.
All right, who's ready? We'll wash it all down. This is the final moment of our class. This will be our parting shot.
I mean, that is way more than a shot.
Okay. But if you think about it, this is like also way less than a cup of tea, right? So what you want is to mix it up real good before you start drinking, and don't feel bad if you can't drink it all. This is I know this is somewhat torturous, but I've got some really that is a little sticky. I've got some really committed clients right now that are doing this every night before they go to bed. So
I'm watching.
The honey really
then the honey helps.
makes it okay.
All right.
What's that? No.
Oh, okay.
It does taste better than I thought it was.
Well, so marshmallow tastes delicious.
It doesn't smell like it tastes.
Marshmallow has a nutty, wonderful flavor.
I feel like this would taste better than peanut butter.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Drink the whole thing.
Drink
Is
it.
that what you said?
You don't have to. No one is going to make you drink it all.
I didn't know.
That's a dose.
I didn't want to like
Yeah, I got to roll her out the door.
go home now.
I have this much. I haven't actually taken this habitually, over a period of time. So my goal for the week is to do this every night before I go to bed and use up all this herb. So I'll let you know if it improved my sleep. And being a perimenopausal woman who has a lot of heat, just the fact that it's cooling, it's so very cooling. I think that just in and of itself, and that moistening component can be very soothing. Add to that the sedative effects of the skull cap. The, yeah, that's the part you have to work at.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was there. I already got some.
Stuff.
He's never coming back to class either.
I think.
Everybody now let's whistle.
Oh, okay. While you guys. And a one, and a two. And a...
I think it made me silly, not sleepy.
Yes, that's the comment. That's the like open, happy, calm.
We're gonna walk out of here and people think we're eating lunch.
So much fun in there.
Tell all your friends. Come to herb class. There'll be concoctions. I did include, we don't necessarily have to, well, yeah, we'll talk about this real quick and then I'll let you go home. This is an after dinner dreamtime tea. So the reason this is kind of doing double duty is because the hops, the lemon balm, the catnip, the wood betony, the spearmint, and the chamomile, in addition to being relaxing, nerving, sleepy time herbs, they're also all carminative, calming, soothing, digestive herbs. And so this is a great blend for at the end of the day, you've eaten too much dinner, you've been too stressed out at work. This is your go-to after dinner dreamtime tea. This is your rest your weary bones tincture. And so you can see this is a blend of herbs that are not only nervine, but also a lot of them have antispasmodic, anti-inflammatory properties. Or the California poppy, again, is like pain relieving, anodyne. The cramp bark is antispasmodic. The chamomile is anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic. The wood betony is a nervine and a stomach herb. The valerian root is to knock you out, and the passion flower to get those cyclical thoughts out of your head. And we didn't talk about lobelia. I really want, I'm taking it, I'm going deep. Okay, lobelia is awesome. Lobelia is a plant that you should all know and love. For a while, it had a bad rap of being toxic. It's not. You can take large doses of it, and then you'll just vomit. Its nickname is pukeweed. So when I first did Rosemary Gladstar's Science and Art of Herbalism home study program, she has a dictate that you have to order a little bit, 4 ounces of every single herb, and then you have to like taste them and try them and get to know them. And I had read the whole chapter on nervines, and I had those herbs in my cabinet, and I was just gonna like blind pick one and make a quart of it and drink it and find out what happens. Yeah, I grabbed lobelia. And I brewed this whole strong quart of this tea, and I started drinking cups of it. And it was like the middle of the afternoon, and I was like, gosh, I am not feeling well. Like, I really started to get super nauseous, and I was like, what? Oh no, I think I'm getting sick. I think I'm getting the flu. I was like, well, I better have another cup of tea. And so and I had another cup of tea, and then I'm like sitting in this rocker recliner, like I'm gonna die. I'm definitely getting sick. And as I'm sitting there, I think I probably had 3 cups, trying to soothe my stomach, and I'm getting more and more heavy in my body, and more like just lethargic. Yeah. And then as I'm laying there in misery, I remembered, oh, lobelia, its nickname is pukeweed. I didn't actually vomit. I was just pretty nauseous for a while, actually. But lobelia, truly, and you don't need much. It's what we call a low dose botanical. You don't need a lot to get effects, but it is relaxing. It is deeply relaxing to your muscles, to your airways. If you take the right dose, you'll be able to take a deep, full, calming breath, which is so beneficial. So that this is a lesson in make sure you really get to know your plants before you just start drinking a quart of them. Dose matters, guys. Dose matters. And then I'm glad we'll end on this. I promise I'll let you go home and go to sleep. But a really great way to work with these nasty, disgusting herbs is to mix them in a syrup. So you'll make a syrup of something that's palatable. Lavender chamomile is a great combination. I really love wood betony. Spearmint's awesome. So you make your syrup and then add to it this, and then you take it like a tablespoon at a time. You can take it before bed. You can mix it into steaming hot water and just have instant tea. You can add it into other tea. I highly recommend sleepy syrups. They're great. They're great. And this one, what did I use? Lavender, wood betony, and spearmint for the syrup parts, and passion flower, motherwort, blue vervain, and lobelia for sleep and for calming down. So there you go. Oh, and we did. This is the directions for the sleep powder that you all endured. Did everyone get it all down? Here, I'll help you out. You're good. What do you guys think? What did you think of this? This is really not bad at all.
Yeah, it was better. It tasted better than it smelled.
It's pretty easy to do, and it did get really viscous.
Yeah, that wasn't powdery at all.
That is the mucopolysaccharides in the marshmallow. So those coat and soothe mucous membranes, and they're very healing to whatever tissues they come in contact with. So I often, you can do marshmallow root just like that if you're having a reflux attack. You can make it in a draft like that, and it'll calm that right down, because it just like puts the fire out. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you for joining me on this sleepy time adventure.
Like a lullaby playing.
Yeah. I'm very proud of all of you adventurous souls who took all of my concoctions.
I don't think that was anyone. I don't think anyone took all of it.